Hey, everybody, Off the Mic Sports Network here. Another edition of Off the Top Rope. So Raw after WrestleMania 41 is in the books. We now head to NXT and then we head to SmackDown. So this week is still kind of interchanging moving parts and stuff, and we'll see how SmackDown goes on Friday. But we all owe Triple H an apology because the demise of Triple H and when Paul Levesque has been greatly exaggerated. And I know a lot of people are already departing away because of the MAGA leaning things that were going on and the weird quotes that came throughout the weekend and whatever the fuck that finish was to the John Cena and Cody Rhodes main event, which you can't convince me wasn't heavily influenced by The Rock's involvement or lack of involvement in the storyline. We will never know what happened there and what the power struggle is. And at some point, who knows, maybe relatively soon, I'm going to, kind of dissect how this thing may play out because there's some issues that need to be sorted out. But one thing that we need to put to bed is that Paul Levesque knows how to fucking book a wrestling show. When given the opportunity and when with his back up against the wall, needing to do something really special, he put on the best Raw after WrestleMania maybe in a decade, maybe longer, maybe ever. And it's capped off by maybe one of what could wind up being a transcendent piece of booking in putting Braun Breaker with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins. Because I've already talked about this before. Braun Breaker's the next big thing. He's the closest thing to Brock Lesnar that you're going to find. A genetic freak. We'll hope that, all the other stuff that follow Brock Lesnar throughout his career don't follow Braun Breaker. Although his father has been known to be problematic, but I'm not going to get into that. But the point is here, this is the type of show that you expect, and it makes you wonder what the fuck happened on those two nights. Some people will say, it's more of an entertainment show. It's not as much of a wrestling show. But, they leaned a little bit too much more into the entertainment and more of the viral moments. There still was some great matches and a great experience. It wasn't the greatest WrestleMania. Not every WrestleMania is going to be perfect. You're not going to bat 1,000, like I said. So when I saw people just ripping Triple H to shreds for what happened to close out that night, which in large chunk before that main event was really, really good. Again, I've watched Triple H book shows basically going back to NXT and Black and Gold. So this goes back a decade. This guy knows what he's doing, okay? He's not going to be perfect. Nobody has ever been perfect. And it just leads me to the speculation. And again, I will talk about this at some point. There is a power struggle going on at the top. Some people have speculated that Rock is trying to get Triple H fired, and Rock may want to get Vince McMahon back in, which would be weird. But there's some weird conspiracy theories that have been going on, and there's been this power struggle that we've witnessed basically for the last 2 years, really, with Rock trying to shoehorn his way into an already carefully crafted storyline, and not really getting his way. And this year, he just did whatever the fuck he wanted, and then didn't show up for the payoff. And it is what it is. Heel John Cena is what heel John Cena is. And we'll see how it works. I think he could end up doing pretty good business. The conclusion of him being the champion wasn't the greatest and most satisfying conclusion, but given the situation and how, a lot of people were really turned off by what happened at WrestleMania Sunday, to go from that to the Raw after WrestleMania and have the show that they did, like I said, we owe Triple H a huge apology because, yes, we're all not going to bat 1,000. We're all not going to shoot perfectly from the field. Like it's not that way. You're never going to make every correct decision. And I think what people have kind of put themselves into this frame of mind of every WrestleMania has to be like WrestleMania 40. No, it doesn't. And there was some flaws in the build. It was going to be hard to live up to last year. And then, you set up this transcendent main event with Cody Rhodes and John Cena, with John Cena turning heel. You have a big plot point with The Rock. He's not there. You have a flat finish with a celebrity helping John Cena win number 17. And, this heel turn has kind of just not really gotten off on the right foot yet. But like I said, you're not going to be perfect with everything. But this was about as close to a perfect Monday Night Raw as you're going to get. And it proves to me that this is the real Triple H. This is the real Paul Levesque booking as the chief content officer. Whether you love him or you hate him, all you AEW schmucks, all you marks, all you idiots who are just trying to dance on graves and basically say, I'm so glad that AEW exists and is an alternative because WWE had a bad main event of what was an otherwise good show, by the way. And I mean, but hey, again, it leaves us questions of like, where the fuck was this over the 2 nights of WrestleMania? Because in large chunk, I think Stand and Deliver and Raw were probably better than if you stack them up as individual shows. Just because, like, the bad undercard really dragged down Saturday with a great main event, and then the great undercard with a shit main event dragged down Sunday. So there were problems, but I still give Triple H a ton of credit for coming back and not just mailing it in like, a certain old man would have probably done after, a certain old man may have just mailed it in and just not, give it a shit and just wanted to, fuck us and just, fuck us over like he did at 39 when he shoehorned his way back in and was booking shit. So that's really what it is. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.